So you want to start the main story in Raft, but you aren't familiar with any of the materials needed to make the receiver and antenna. How do I make a circuit board? Where the heck do I find vine goo? Can I craft hinges and bolts? It says I need copper ingot and metal ingot. How do I make those from the copper ore and metal ore? What's up, this is Coca-Cola, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to make and use the smelter, which is a key item that isn't very well explained by the game and can be confusing for new players. This is the second video in my Raft beginner guide series. In my last video I covered crafting, tools, island encounters, and sustainability, and in this video I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about the smelter. The smelter is a bit tricky since it requires materials that you have to actively search for, but don't be intimidated because it's actually super simple to make and use. The topics covered in this video are smelter description and uses, smelter crafting recipe and where to find materials, item prioritization, what to make with the smelted materials, smelter tips and tricks, and beginning the main story. This video will be thorough, but I'll try to keep it short, so let's get started. The smelter is an important item in Raft that will be used to transform certain resources into useful crafting materials. To use it, place an item on top and add some wood planks on the bottom and wait. Eventually, these items will change into new, useful items. Here is a full list of items that you can make with the smelter. Metal ore turns into metal ingot. Copper ore turns into copper ingot. Seaweed turns into vine goo. Sand turns into glass. Explosive goo turns into explosive powder. And titanium ore turns into titanium ingot. Smelter crafting recipe and where to find each material. The crafting recipe for the smelter is ore plank, 6 dry brick, 4 scrap, and 6 nail. But wait, what is a dry brick and how do you make it? A dry brick is made after you leave a wet brick out to dry for 5 minutes. Oh, okay. But wait, what's a wet brick? And how do you make it? Wet bricks can be made by combining 2 sand and 2 clay. Oh, okay. But wait, where do I get sand and clay? Sand and clay are both found in the ecosystems underneath islands. Oh, okay. But wait! Nah, I'm just kidding, that's all you need to know. Sand and clay look a little bit like spheres sticking out of the ocean floor, and it's pretty easy to think that they are just part of the natural environment. Just use your hook to collect them. To make a smelter for the first time, you will need 14 of both sand and clay to make 7 wet bricks. You can find the recipe for wet bricks in the resources tab. After you make them, you just have to set them somewhere on your raft and wait for 5 minutes. You can tell they are done after it changes color from a dark to a light brown. After they're done, you can collect them and open up your crafting menu to make the smelter. Except, we don't know the recipe yet. At your research table, research one of the bricks. Keep in mind that this will use up one of them, which is why I told you to make 7 instead of the required 6. You're welcome. Place the smelter anywhere it fits on your raft. You can insert your held item into the smelter by pressing E. The smelter uses wood planks to work. You need lots of wood planks to keep smelters functioning, which is why I recommend making them after you already have a few collection nets. See my previous video for help making those. Item prioritization list. What to make with smelted materials. So now that you have the smelter and unlocked a lot of new recipes, what items should you make first? It's important to remember that most of the smelter resources can only be found when exploring underneath an island. They are very limited in quantity, and therefore you don't want to waste any on things you aren't going to be using right away. To help you, I made a list of items that you should prioritize making after you unlock the smelter. Make sure you research each of the new materials to unlock these recipes. This list is categorized into very useful items, and story items. Very useful items are items that I suggest you make right away since they will really have a big impact in the quality of your game by saving you a lot of time and resources. A good example of this is the Advanced Purifier. The Advanced Purifier is amazing because it is a very inexpensive and efficient way to make fresh water. Unlike the simple purifier, you do not need any planks for it to work and is able to store 5 cups of water instead of 1. You just need to make 1 for now, but feel free to add more as your raft grows. The next item you want to make is an empty bottle. The empty bottle is able to hold 5 cups of water, which is great for watering your crop plots or going out on long journeys. I recommend making 2 so you never go thirsty. Storage. As you keep playing, you will discover new items and new materials, so you will need space to store all of this stuff. The storage is a great solution since it holds a decent amount of items. You can never have enough storage. Make as many as you need to keep yourself organized. Story items. To continue the main story, you will need to build a couple of newly unlocked items. This includes the circuit board, battery, receiver, and antenna. I'll go over how to set up all of these in the next video. Useful items. These are items that will improve your game but are expensive to make or maintain. You should only make these after you've done everything listed before this. The advanced grill makes cooking more efficient since you will be able to cook multiple things at once. It's a good way to help you save planks. Stationary anchor is a really great help for parking your raft along an island, but it's very bulky and expensive to make, so don't feel rushed to build this. The scrap hook, metal axe, metal spear, and metal fishing rod are upgrades to your existing tools that are generally faster, more effective, and have longer durability. Even though they have longer durability, they still eventually break, and sometimes might not be worth the resources to make another. The flippers and the oxygen bottle are very similar. Flippers are a new equipable item that can help you swim faster but also wear out over time. The oxygen bottle allows you to... Wait, was that? Is that the that killed Steve Irwin? I will avenge you, Steven! Okay, he's gone. But anyways, the oxygen bottle allows you to hold your breath underwater for longer. It doubles your breath capacity, extending your underwater duration from 30 seconds up to an entire minute. Both the oxygen bottle and flippers combined can help you gather resources under an island a lot more efficiently, but are considered consumables and will still eventually break. Use these when you have extra materials. Metal foundations are super helpful to protect your raft from the shark. The problem is that it is very expensive to outline your entire raft with these, especially since it is early in the game and you do not know what your raft will evolve into. It's better to save your resources and do this later. The only exception to this is fortifying your collection nets, since they are not easy to make. Tips and tricks. The smelter is fairly simple to make and use, but it takes up quite a bit of space. I've found that if you place a half wall and build a wooden floor on it, you can stack smelters on top of each other for maximum efficiency. In general, you want to place your smelters in an area that is open for expansion and is located close to your storage. You will eventually have multiple smelters, so pick an open section when placing. You want it close to the storage area because you will be picking up and putting away materials very often, so you don't want to have to run across your raft every time. Outroduction. That is my full, in-depth video about the smelter. In the next video, I'm going to be going over the battery, receiver, and antenna, so you can get started on the main story. I hope you learned something from watching, and if you did, please make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more Raft content and tutorials. I have plenty of things planned out to help you thrive in the open sea. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Good luck!